Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Abby with Abby Reviews, and this is going to be my review for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode something. It'll be in the description. It's called Ladies Who Lunch. Please ignore the sounds of drilling and cutting. People are working right outside the window. But let's get pause. You're over here insinuating. So now they're arguing across the table. So you just gonna stand in your wrongness is what you're saying. That's what you're saying to everybody. So you find it in your heart to ask this girl for apologize to her, but the woman you were screaming about rudely across a restaurant when your ass was drunk as 10 skunks, her you don't have an apology for. And then when she actually tries to speak to it, you decide that you want to get an attitude and start cussing at her from across the table, and she politely asks you not to, and you still gonna do whatever you want to do because you want to be queen bitch is what I'm getting. She want to be black so bad. She wanted so bad.
I wasn't allowed to comment. Let's just talk.
Because I feel drained already. Jesus Christ. So Jen throws a hissy fit. Everybody runs after her. Well, Heather runs after her to get her to come back because she knows they'll be held to pay because Jen is a brat who doesn't like to be told no or held responsible for any of her actions. And so now they're trying to come to some resolve so she can see that not even though you feel like Mary hurt your feelings and though she's already apologized and you accepted it, you acting the way you do in that 1920s party also was hurtful to her, and now you owe her an apology. If we're actually going to get there, or are we all just going to kiss Jen's ass? I do not know. This stupid bitch said, I don't want this around Walter. Walter is very upset. Walter in the corner like, if you bitches just don't shut up so I can get to the next course and go home and mind my damn business. Walter don't give a damn about none of this foolishness. Walter is very okay. I am well aware that this is a thing that happens. That the implicit bias against people of color is so ingrained in our country that it's even ingrained in us as a black people to be biased against our own people. So I understand where this is coming from. I do not think it's unspoken normally. Why she felt comfortable enough to say that in front of Jen, I do not understand. But this is not the first that I've heard of this, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Okay. So she just said automatically, convenience stores violence. And I directly correlate that to convenience stores in maybe a certain neighborhood, or it's populated by too many black people. Again, that goes to the systematic bias that has been in this country to where it's ingrained not only in the psyches of white people, but it's ingrained in the psyches of some black people as well. It just is what it is. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to combat it. I just know that it is a thing that is real and it happens. Now this girl gonna get up and start yelling and screaming. I got a headache. Sorry, when the workman walked in. But we were just at Jen's house and she's talking to her daughters and her daughter boyfriend come over and she said, they're going on a double date, blah, blah, blah. And so she says her one issue is that with her being divorced, she pretty much got kicked out of the Mormon community as well. So she's not in the same circle of families. She's not getting invited to the same birthday parties. And her kids are not really want to participate in church because they feel super judged when they get there, which is very sad. That should be the last thing that you think of about church, but I don't know. These Mormons do things very differently. It's weird. Okay, pause. So her, I want to say this is Meredith. Meredith and her husband, he's come back into town, and okay. So Meredith picks her husband up at the airport, and they're all kissy. And then they get into a conversation. She gives like a backstory about how he, with his career in sales, he's moved and moved and moved, and they've never been able to settle. And now that they're in Utah, and now he wants her to move to Ohio. She's triggered, and I get it. I understand completely. At some point, some people can live that nomad life where they're always moving, and some people like to set down roots. And at this point, she set down roots, and she's refusing to budge. And her husband, and she's been making concessions this whole time, and now she's putting her foot down. And now her husband's like, "So you are more concerned about where you live than who you live with?" And at some point, yes, I'm concerned. Jesus Christ! And how much time is left in this episode? Oh, Father. I don't want to watch this for another hour and some. Oh, Jesus Christ. Maybe that means. Oh, I hope that just means that I'm halfway through. For fuck's sake. Okay. Mary and Jen are telling their prospective husbands about the foolala at the luncheon. They pretty much telling the same story to their husbands, only they are heavily emphasizing their portion of it and leaving things out on both ends so that they appear the victim to their husband, which is normal. Jen's still on my list though. I don't buy this, oh, I treat you like shit because I care business bullshit, but you old. So let's talk about Whitney's family dynamic, which is a lot. And when a parent, I wouldn't know this. I kind of do. Well, when a parent has a drug addiction and, they have burnt the bridges with the family and stuff, and now he's about to check into sober living, and the only child that's still currently speaking to him is Whitney, and all that she's not asking the family to accept him back or be his best friend. She's just asking that you send him an encouraging text message. He may not even respond to said text message, but just push love towards him. And so I think that is an amazing thing. Her brother Will said he would do so. So I think that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing. Can this show hurry up? Okay.
Does that fit your lifestyle?
So I'm gonna pause it right there on the commercial because we just left Lisa and her husband. I think her name, the wine lady. I think her name is Lisa. And they're talking about they having their son's birthday, and she's like, I try to make my kids' birthdays very special. Anything you want, you can have. Because when Sundance season comes in, I guess she does a lot with Sundance. I can't be as focused on them and give them as much attention as I would normally do for them. And then she and her husband have a talk about Meredith and her husband, and he was like, well, what's going on? And she was like, oh, they're in their 40s, and then to be as married as long as they have, you go through these ups and downs, but it all is positive. If she says it's positive, then I believe her. Pause right quick before we go to Meredith's situation. So Whitney just dropped her dad off at Sober Living, and they had a conversation, and she feels like it's going to be different because he actually chose to go to Sober Living and not like it was an ultimatum forced situation. So we're praying that Whitney's dad is successful in his sobriety. Now on to Meredith and her big bag of bullshit. So Meredith and her husband are having a conversation, and he's packing up, and she's like, so what are we going to do? And he's like, I don't know, I guess I'm going to go back and give you some space so you can figure it out. She's like, yeah, because it's been hard. It's been really tough with us arguing all the time and stuff. And she's like, maybe it's best. And he was like, oh, so you want space from me? He's like, well, I'll give you as much space as you want. And I feel like maybe that may have been the last straw. And she was like, I love you and I don't want us to end. And he was like, well, you need to figure out what it is that we're doing. What do you want? And then he walked out, and she looking pitiful in the face. That's a hard place to be.
They're together.
So Mary and Heather had a conversation It was weird. It's really weird. I felt confused. I may have drifted off during it. She was crying at one point. I don't know. But that was the end. Let's get into my final thoughts. So once again, this was a whole lot. The ladies, like, it's the minutia of it all. Jesus Christ on a cracker. Jen is a mess. Mary is a mess. Meredith is a mess. Heather is always a mess. She seems less messy the more we see her. Whitney seems to have got her shit together, and we are wishing great things for her dad. I like the husbands. I like Mary's husband. He seems sensible. I like Jen's husband. I like their husbands more than I like them wives. So I don't know how this is going to go or how much longer I can take this show. Pray for me that I can make it to the end of the season because it's not looking good. And with that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a kin, and I will catch you in the next.